Welcome to Cozy Sleep Stories, a peaceful place where gentle stories and calming voices help you unwind, relax, and drift into a deep, restful sleep. Whether you've had a long day, your mind won't slow down, or you're simply looking for a comforting bedtime story, you're in the right place. If you enjoy relaxing stories that help you fall asleep naturally, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a new bedtime journey. Now, find your most comfortable position. Allow your body to settle into the bed. Take a slow, deep breath in and gently breathe out. Feel the tension leaving your shoulders. Relax your face. Relax your arms. Relax your legs. With every breath, your body becomes a little heavier, a little calmer, a little more peaceful. There is nothing you need to think about, nothing you need to do, only this quiet moment and the story you're about to hear. So close your eyes, take one last slow breath, and let tonight's cozy story carry you gently into sleep. Sweet dreams. The Golden Owl of Silent Wisdom. The blue boat carried Orin away from the island of forgotten dreams. Behind him, the great golden tree grew smaller beneath the night sky. Its leaves continued to fall in slow circles around the stone house, becoming points of light before they touched the ground. The keeper remained inside, surrounded by quiet candles, glass jars, and the dreams of countless lives. Ahead, the glowing staircase rose from the opposite bank. It climbed toward high cliffs where the enormous stone owl had been carved into the mountainside. Its wings stretched across the rock like two great shadows. Its eyes reflected the stars. Between them, the golden doorway remained open. The river carried the boat gently toward the shore. The water still flowed backward toward the mountains, but here the current moved more slowly. Long reflections of the stars rested upon the surface. They bent around the boat without breaking. The blue lantern at the bow became dimmer as the golden light from the cliffs grew stronger. Orin sat quietly and listened to the river. The memories beneath the water had become faint. He could no longer see the ordinary lives that had appeared earlier. Now the current held only fragments of color. A red thread, a white feather, a circle of candles, a pair of hands closing an ancient door. The images drifted beneath him and disappeared. The boat reached the bank. Its wooden bow touched the stone steps with barely any sound. Orin stepped onto the first stair. The blue lantern flickered once. Then the boat turned away and drifted slowly back toward the golden island. Orin watched until it became a small point of light upon the river. Then he turned toward the mountain. The staircase was narrow but smooth. Each step had been carved directly into the pale stone. Golden symbols rested along the edges. Some resembled open books. Others showed closed eyes, feathers, moons, and small circles divided into 7 parts. Orin began to climb. The golden key inside his coat grew warmer with every step. The silver key remained calm. The blue key felt cool beside it. Together, the 3 keys seemed to create a quiet balance: memory, wisdom, and the deep stillness of water. The staircase wound upward along the cliff face. The river slowly sank below him. From this height, Orin could see the path he had followed. The ancient forest rested in darkness across the valley. The golden tree glowed at the river's center. Far beyond both, the towers of Asterra rose beneath the pale moon. The city appeared silent from here, yet faint lights now moved along several streets. Asterra was continuing to wake. The air became cooler as Orin climbed. No wind touched the cliff. Even so, the edges of his coat moved softly, as though stirred by a breath too gentle to feel. The mountain carried a faint sound. It was not whispering like the forest. It was closer to the turning of pages in a distant room. At times, Orin thought he heard the slow beat of wings, but when he looked upward, the sky remained empty. The stone owl above him seemed larger with every turn of the path. Its feathers had been carved with extraordinary care. Each line in the rock curved naturally into the next. The wings followed the shape of the mountain. The head rose above a wide ledge. The golden doorway rested where the owl's brow met the cliff. The eyes were not simple carvings. They were made from two enormous pieces of polished amber. Stars shone inside them. The closer Orin came, the more he felt that the mountain was observing him. Not with suspicion, not with threat, with patience. The staircase ended upon a broad terrace. 7 stone pillars stood along its edge. Each pillar held a golden bowl. Inside every bowl burned a white flame. The flames gave off no smoke. They did not move. At the center of the terrace stood the doorway. Its frame was covered with feathers, carved from gold-colored stone. There was no door. Beyond it, a long passage extended into the mountain. Orin stepped beneath the arch. The sound of the river faded. The passage was warm. Its walls reflected soft golden light, although Orin could see no lanterns or windows. Images had been carved along both sides. They showed owls of many sizes resting above libraries, temples, forests, and sleeping cities. Some carried keys. Some carried scrolls. Others held small stars in their talons. The images did not seem to describe a single creature. They represented an order of guardians, watchers who remained awake while others slept, keepers of knowledge that could not be trusted to kings. Orin moved deeper into the mountain. The passage opened into a vast circular hall. The ceiling disappeared into darkness. Tall columns rose around the room. Between them stood thousands of stone shelves. Each shelf held a single golden tablet. The tablets varied in size. Some were narrow and simple. Others were larger than doors. No writing appeared upon them. Their surfaces remained smooth. At the center of the hall stood a round platform. Upon it rested a carved owl with folded wings. This owl was much smaller than the one outside, though still taller than Orin. Its body was made from dark stone. Its eyes were closed. A golden circle rested on the floor around it. Orin approached slowly. The moment he stepped into the circle, the hall changed. One by one, the golden tablets began to glow. The light moved through the shelves in long waves. Thousands of silent records awakened around him. The stone owl opened its eyes. They shone with the same amber light as the mountain. No words were spoken. A calm awareness entered Orin's thoughts. The guardian did not ask his name. It already knew him. It knew of Eleanor. It knew of the lighthouse. It knew of Asterra, the river, the forest, and the keeper of forgotten dreams. It also knew which questions Orin carried. The question of the traitor, the question of the 7 keys, and the question of why the moon's true name had been hidden in the first place. The guardian extended one wing. A golden tablet rose from a distant shelf. It floated across the hall and came to rest in the air before Orin. Its blank surface became clear as glass. An image appeared within it. Orin saw Asterra beneath a bright silver moon. The city was awake. Its streets were crowded. Music drifted from open windows. The 7 rulers stood upon a high balcony above the palace. Each wore a crown made from a different material: silver, gold, blue stone, black iron, white crystal, red copper, and clear glass. The rulers did not seem to possess equal roles. Each guarded a different part of the kingdom: memory, wisdom, dreams, time, light, life, and silence. Together, they maintained the well beneath the palace. The moon's true name rested inside that well. Its power did not belong to the rulers. They merely protected it. The image changed. Years passed. Asterra became larger. Its knowledge spread beyond the sea. Travelers came from distant kingdoms to study its stars, medicine, music, and hidden roads. The rulers grew proud. Some believed the city had become too important to remain only a guardian. They wanted to use the moon's name. They believed it could reveal every future, open every sealed road, preserve the city forever. Not all agreed. The Guardian of Silence warned that true names were not tools. The Guardian of Wisdom urged patience. The Guardian of Dreams feared what would happen if the moon were forced to serve human desire. But one ruler continued to seek control. The image focused on a tall figure, wearing a crown of black iron. The face remained hidden. The figure governed time. Its duty was to protect the boundaries between one age and the next. For centuries, the Guardian had watched cities rise and disappear. It had watched loved ones grow old. It had watched every beautiful moment pass beyond reach. Slowly, duty became fear. Fear became obsession. The ruler began to believe that time itself was a wound. The moon's true name seemed to offer a cure. The vision showed the black-crowned guardian studying alone beneath the palace. Maps covered the walls. Clocks surrounded the chamber. The ruler discovered that the name could not stop time completely, but it could separate a place from the flow of years. Asterra could remain unchanged. Its people could sleep without aging. Its walls could survive while centuries passed outside. The ruler convinced himself that this would save the city. The tablet darkened for a moment. Then the well appeared. The 7 rulers stood around it. The ceremony ended. The others departed. The Guardian of Time remained behind. A black key opened the inner seal. The true name rose from the well. But the ruler could not control it. The moonlight fractured. One part remained inside Asterra. One part entered the ruler, and one part vanished beyond the city. The kingdom fell asleep. The moon forgot itself. The Guardian of Time disappeared. The image faded. The tablet became blank again. Orin stood silently within the golden circle. The traitor had not acted from simple cruelty. The ruler had tried to preserve Asterra, but fear had transformed protection into possession. The result had trapped the city between sleep and waking. The stone owl lowered its wing. A second tablet rose from the shelves. This one revealed another scene. The black-crowned ruler stood outside Asterra after the city had fallen asleep. The figure appeared weaker. Cracks of silver light spread across the dark robe. In one hand rested the black key. In the other glowed a fragment of the moon's true name. The ruler crossed the bridge. The lighthouse keeper watched from the tower, but did not interfere. The Guardian of Time moved beyond the silent sea and entered a long road beneath the stars. At the end of that road stood a city with no shadows. There, the ruler vanished. The tablet dimmed. Orin understood that the stolen name was no longer entirely within Asterra. A fragment had been carried elsewhere. To awaken the moon completely, he would need more than the 7 keys. He would need to follow the lost guardian beyond the borders of the Forgotten Kingdom. The thought did not frighten him. It made the journey feel larger. The city had only been the first doorway. The Owl Guardian looked toward the shelves. A third tablet began to glow. This one did not rise. Instead, its light spread across the entire hall. Golden lines appeared upon the floor. They formed a map. Orin stood at its center. Asterra surrounded him in 7 circles. The forest rested to the north. The river curved through the eastern walls. The dry harbor opened toward the south. The lighthouse stood beyond the western gate. At the center, beneath the palace, lay the well. 6 paths extended from it. The 7th path was broken. It continued beyond the city toward a place marked only by a black sun, the city with no shadows. The lost guardian had carried the missing fragment there. The map changed. A smaller symbol appeared closer to Orin's present location. It showed a river flowing backward through a deep valley. At the river's source stood another seal. The 4th key waited there. Orin would need it before entering the palace. The golden owl lowered its head. The message within Orin's thoughts became gentle and clear. Wisdom did not mean avoiding mistakes. It meant seeing the fear beneath them. Understanding did not erase harm, but without understanding, every wound created another. Orin remembered the ruler standing beside the well. He imagined centuries spent watching everything pass away. He could almost understand the desire to preserve one perfect city, forever. Almost. But the sleeping streets of Asterra revealed the cost of that wish. Nothing truly lived when nothing was allowed to change. The golden tablets began to dim. The hall returned to quiet. The guardian stepped down from its platform. Its stone feet touched the floor without sound. It moved toward Orin with slow dignity. Around its neck hung a small chain. Upon the chain rested a golden feather. The guardian lowered its head. The feather detached and floated into Orin's hand. It was light, but solid. A narrow line of writing appeared along its center. The words explained that wisdom was not a key to every answer. It was a light carried into uncertainty. The golden key inside Orin's coat responded. It rose by itself and hovered above his open palm. The feather dissolved into golden light and entered the key. New markings appeared along its surface. The key had changed. It now carried the blessing of the silent guardian. The stone owl returned to its platform. Its eyes began to close. Before the amber light disappeared, one final image entered Orin's thoughts. A river beneath a dark sky, water moving upward through a valley. At its source, a circular door rested behind a waterfall. Above the door stood the symbol of an hourglass filled with stars. The next key was waiting there. Then the guardian became still. The golden circle faded. The tablets returned to darkness. Orin left the great hall. The passage through the mountain seemed shorter on the way back. When he stepped onto the terrace, the night air felt cooler than before. The white flames inside the golden bowls continued to burn. Far below, the river glowed through the valley. The golden island remained visible in the distance, but the blue boat was gone. In its place, a new path had appeared. A narrow bridge of pale stone extended from the terrace along the mountain. It curved around the cliff and descended toward the river's upper valley. Small golden feathers rested along its edge. They glowed just enough to reveal the way. Orin began walking. The enormous stone owl remained above the doorway behind him. Its amber eyes no longer reflected the stars. They were closed once more. The bridge carried Orin higher into the mountains. The air smelled of rain. Clouds gathered above the distant peaks. For the first time since entering Asterra, the pale moon began to move. Only slightly. Its position shifted among the stars. The change was almost impossible to notice. Yet Orin saw it. The city's long night was no longer completely still. Far ahead, the sound of falling water reached him. It grew louder with every step. The bridge turned around the final cliff. Beyond it lay a deep valley, filled with silver mist. A river rose from the valley floor and flowed upward toward a dark mountain. At the mountain's base, a waterfall climbed into the sky. Behind its shining curtain, a circular door waited in the stone. Above the door glowed the symbol of an hourglass filled with stars. Orin rested one hand over the 3 keys inside his coat. The silver key remembered the road. The blue key carried the quiet of the ancient forest. The golden key now held the wisdom of the owl. Together, they guided him toward the river that flowed backward. And beneath the slowly shifting moon, the next guardian, the river that flowed backward. Orin followed the narrow bridge deeper into the mountains. Behind him, the enormous stone owl disappeared beyond the curve of the cliff. Ahead, the valley opened beneath the sky filled with slow-moving clouds. Silver mist rested between the peaks. The river below did not descend toward the plains. It climbed. Its water rose gently from the valley floor and traveled upward between the mountains, as though returning to the place where it had first been born. At the far end of the valley, a waterfall moved in the same impossible direction. Its white current lifted from a dark pool and flowed upward along the face of the mountain. Behind the shining water, the circular stone door waited. Above it glowed the symbol of an hourglass filled with stars. The pale moon had shifted slightly since Orin last looked at it. The change was small, yet it was enough to remind him that the night surrounding Asterra was no longer entirely still. Time had begun to move again. Not quickly, not fully, but somewhere within the forgotten city, a sleeping mechanism had started to turn. Orin continued across the bridge. The golden feathers along its edge became dimmer as he descended. The sound of the rising waterfall grew louder. It was not harsh. The water produced a deep, steady sound that filled the valley like distant rain against a roof. With each step, the air became cooler. Tiny drops of water drifted upward around him. They lifted from the river, past his face, and vanished into the clouds above. The valley smelled of stone, rain, and cold earth. At the end of the bridge, a path led down toward the riverbank. The ground was covered with smooth black pebbles. Many of them held small silver lines, as though moonlight had become trapped inside the stone. Orin walked toward the water. The river moved slowly near the shore. Its surface carried leaves, flower petals, broken branches, and small pieces of wood. All of them traveled upstream. Nothing seemed hurried. The river did not fight gravity. It simply ignored it. Orin knelt beside the bank. He reached one hand toward the water. The moment his fingers touched the surface, the current stopped. The entire river became still. The waterfall froze in the air. The mist ceased drifting. Even the clouds above seemed to pause. A circle of light spread outward from Orin's hand. Within it, the dark surface became clear. The river revealed a memory. Orin saw a young man standing beside a simple wooden house. The man was packing a small bag. Inside the house, an older woman rested near a fire. The young man looked toward a road leading away from the village. He wanted to leave. He wanted to see distant cities, mountains, and seas. But he remained. He placed the bag beneath the bed and returned to the fire. Years passed within the reflection. The young man grew older. The woman disappeared. The house changed. The road remained. The dream of leaving never vanished. It simply became quieter. The image faded. The river began moving again. Orin withdrew his hand. He understood that the current did not carry time backward in the ordinary sense. It carried unfinished moments toward their beginnings. It returned memories to the places where they had first taken shape. A choice made long ago. A promise forgotten. A path never taken. The river gathered them all and carried them home. Orin walked along the bank. The circular door behind the waterfall remained far ahead. There was no bridge across the river. No boat waited nearby. The current was too wide to cross by stepping stones. Yet the path of black pebbles continued beside the water, curving gradually upward into the valley. Orin followed it. The keys beneath his coat remained quiet. The golden key carried a gentle warmth. The silver key felt cool. The blue key seemed to pulse faintly with the rhythm of the river. As the path climbed, Orin passed tall stones arranged along the bank. Each stone had been carved into the shape of an hourglass. The upper chambers were empty. The lower chambers were filled with tiny stars. Some stars glowed brightly. Others had grown dim. The stones appeared to mark journeys, or perhaps lives. Orin stopped beside one of them. Its surface showed a figure carrying a child across a flooded road. Another stone showed a woman riding by candlelight. A third showed two brothers standing on opposite sides of a gate. The river had preserved not only memory, but consequence. Every moment flowed into another. Every choice entered the current. Farther along the path, Orin began hearing bells. Their notes were low and distant. Unlike the bells of the dry harbor, these did not form a sequence. Each rang at a different time. Some were separated by long silences. Others sounded one after another. The bells came from the river. Orin looked across the water. Small shapes moved beneath the surface. They resembled fish made from transparent glass. Inside each one floated a tiny bell. As the creatures swam upstream, the bells rang softly within them. The sound carried through the water and rose into the valley. The glass fish moved in groups. Some swam near the surface. Others disappeared into deeper currents. Orin watched them for a while. Their bells seemed to respond to certain memories beneath the river. A fish would pass over a circle of light. The memory would appear. The bell would sound. Then both would continue upstream. The river remembered, and the fish acknowledged. Nothing was allowed to pass in complete silence. The path narrowed. The mountain walls rose closer on either side. The sky became a thin band of darkness above. The upward moving water began to shine. Long threads of pale light formed beneath its surface. They twisted together like roots. Orin recognized the pattern. It resembled the 7 paths shown in the map within the Owl's Hall. The river was part of the same ancient design. Its source had once been connected to the well beneath Asterra. Perhaps the city's guardians had used it to carry memory away from the moon's true name. Or perhaps the river carried memory back toward it. The distinction was becoming less clear. Near the center of the valley, the path ended. A wide stone platform extended over the river. At its edge stood a tall arch. No gate rested within it, only open air. 7 chains hung from the top of the arch. At the end of each chain was a small silver bowl. The bowl swayed gently, though there was no wind. Beneath the arch, the river flowed upward. Orin stepped onto the platform. The nearest bowl lowered toward him. It was empty. Then the second bowl moved. It too was empty. One by one, all 7 descended until they floated around him. The symbols carved into the platform began to glow. A message formed within the ancient book. Orin opened it. New words appeared slowly across the page. They explained that the crossing could not be opened with a key. It required a memory willingly released, not forgotten, not erased, released. Orin stood beneath the arch and considered the meaning. The river did not ask him to lose something. It asked him to stop holding it in the same way. The 7 bowls waited. Orin thought of his childhood, the house near the sea, the sound of rain, the borrowed books, the distant hills. Many memories carried warmth. Others carried regret. He thought of his father. There had been a final conversation between them. A small disagreement, nothing extraordinary. Orin had been young. He had wanted to leave Elianer and study in a distant city. His father had wanted him to remain one more season. Neither had spoken with cruelty. Yet both had spoken from pride. Orin left before dawn the next morning. His father died while he was away. For years, Orin had replayed the final conversation. He had changed the words in memory. He had imagined gentler endings. He had blamed himself for leaving. He had blamed his father for making departure feel like betrayal. The memory had become heavier with time. It no longer belonged only to the past. Orin carried it into every journey. He carried it into every goodbye. He stood quietly beneath the stone arch. The first silver bowl moved closer. Within it, a reflection appeared. The old house, the morning road, his father standing beside the door, the younger Orin walking away. The image did not change. It did not offer a different ending. It simply showed what had happened. Orin watched until the pain became familiar rather than sharp. He understood something he had resisted for many years. The final conversation had not contained their entire relationship. It was one moment, not the whole story. His father's love had existed before it. It had existed within it, and it had not disappeared because the moment remained unresolved. Orin placed one hand above the silver bowl. The memory lifted from the surface. It became a small thread of blue light. The light rested briefly in his palm, then it rose. It entered the backward flowing river. The current carried it upstream. Orin did not forget. He still remembered the door.